What is going on, Cowboys family? We are back with another film session. It's been a little while, but we are back in action. I know y'all missed me because I have missed y'all too. And we will be bringing in some of the most detailed Cowboys film that's out there all throughout the regular season as well as the preseason. But as for today, we will be breaking down Shemar James, a guy that really flashed this past game and someone who I think could find his way on the field sometime this season. So let's take a look and see what this player did this past game. So on this play here, they have Shemar James lined up near the edge. Within a split second after the snap, he shows good instincts and processing, disengaging cleanly from the tight end and knifes inside with explosive lateral quickness, displaying good gap integrity and gets his hands on the runner. And it's good to see this from the rookie making the most of his opportunities. So we go ahead and split it. So running this play here, you see that he's firing off on the right side. That tight end, he attempts to block him, but with a guy like Shemar James, you got to get your hands inside or he has the ability to be able to quickly get away, scraping across the line of scrimmage and gets his hands on the running back. And you can see him right there, man. That's what you need when it comes down to that linebacker position. You got to be hungry, down in and down out. And he did a lot of that coming out of college, but you have to prove it at the next level. Coaches like Matt Eberflus has the ability to get this player in position, and seeing this player in his college days lining up all over the field, that's how this player is going to be able to take that next step. But this play here shows good hand placement, physicality, and just having the understanding of where that running back is going to be. And with these preseason games, you might not play a lot of snaps, so you have to make the most of your opportunities, especially if these coaches are going to rely on you once we get into these important games. But great play by Shemar James, bouncing off that tight end and making a key stop, finding ways to get busy in the gridiron. Here's a play that was absolutely outstanding from James and one of the better plays by anybody on the team in this first preseason game. He shows athleticism and the ability to break up a pass, nearly intercepting it. And he was one of the athletes that didn't get many interceptions coming out of college, but coaches often say when you get your hands on it, you can intercept that ball. But regardless, the athleticism that this player displayed here was impressive. So let's spin it. So focusing on this play here, you see Shemar James right there. Just watching this player getting out in coverage and locks his eyes on the ball, flipping those hips and batting it down. And this is why a lot of these coaches, you want guys that can be fast. You want players that can have long arms. This is what it's all about when it comes down to that linebacker position. And you see that this player, he was mad about it because he knows that he could have possibly intercepted that ball. And usually when you do get those turnovers, it can be able to shift these games. But to see a player going out there and reaching up for that pass like that, it shows his grit, it shows his will, as well as his determination to do what he has to do to affect these plays. And the good thing is, when you look at these linebackers from the Cowboys, or even linebackers that's in the NFL now, you don't usually see them reaching for the ball like that, but the better scouts and coaches pay attention to these things. Now, there were questions coming out of college about how fast he is, as well as playing in coverage, so putting this player in the right spot is extremely important. And as far as his coverage assignments, I think that he is good defending those quick in routes, quick out routes where he can be able to break to the ball quickly. So it will be interesting to see how this player is going to play in the preseason as far as the passing game. But this was another great play by James here for sure. Here's a rep where he disengages from the climbing guard and makes a play on the ball. This type of aggression can be contagious and elevate players around him. It's great to see his toughness and commitment to playing through the whistle. So we go ahead and run it. So locking on this play here, you see that guard, he's trying to climb to the second level. But with James, he gets his hands inside and completely shocks that guard. And usually when that does happen, you can be able to knock these guys off balance. You see that he gets away and gets straight to the ball carrier. This kind of aggression is what you need when it comes down to that linebacker position. I cannot stress it enough. Now, it's not going to always be about those linebackers. You got to get the right defensive tackles there. Those one techniques, not allowing these guards to be able to climb down to the second level so easily, and let these linebackers go out there and hunt. And with Shemar James, he's one of those linebackers who is not that big, so you definitely need good defensive tackles to be able to clog things up. But this is why I love to be able to zoom this kind of stuff in just so we can be able to catch every single movement on these plays. He will make mistakes out there. We know that comes with being a rookie, but this is one of those athletes that's going to make more good plays than what he does bad plays. And a lot of these times when you are in the NFL, when you're a linebacker going up against these guards, to be able to outpower a guard that's coming straight at you really says a lot about this player's aggression. Here's another rep where James is sticking his nose in there. He doesn't make the tackle directly, but slows things down, which is very important when it comes down to that linebacker position, allowing other defenders to step up and finish the play. It's the little things that matter when playing linebacker, and going hard through the whistle is what you want to see. This play here demonstrates that perfectly, Cowboys Nation. So let's run it. So locking on this play here, you see that guard, he tries to get to the second level again, but you can just see the hand placement from Shemar James, getting right into the middle of the action and completely stonewalling him. Now, as you can see, that guard has his left arm wrapped around him, and he used his right arm and he leaned towards the left to remove Shemar James out of the play, but that was enough time for all the other players to step up and make the play. And this is what you want when it comes down to Matt Eberflus' defense. When Matt Eberflus' defense is not always about playing that hero ball, there will be times where you're going to have gap integrity and somebody else has to make that play. One band, one sound when it comes down to this defense this year. But to see the grit and the physicality from Shemar James doing whatever it takes to be able to stop that ball carrier, that goes a long way in your NFL career. So he's going to have to do this more often. It can look good the first preseason game, but consistency is key because a lot of these players in college, they look good in training camp, they do okay in the preseason, and you don't hear from them again once you get to the regular season. So this kind of play here, you have to translate this once we get to the regular season, as well as practice, because that's where it all starts. One of the issues I've noticed from Shemar James is his hip mobility in space. He's not the fastest player. I think he was a 4'6" athlete. It's not always about speed, but at the same time, you will be going up against a lot of athletic players. So coaches, they need to position this player correctly and avoid leaving him isolated. On this touchdown play, he wasn't quick enough to reach the wide receiver in time. So let's run it. Running this play here, just locking in on that running back. I did say that it was the wide receiver. It actually was the runner that caught the ball. He ran like a Texas route, and Shemar James was never in the right position to be able to stop this play. Now, you see this from a lot of players in the NFL. There are no perfect athletes, and mistakes will happen. And this is why you have the preseason where these guys can be able to learn from this and figure out what he can be able to do better. Because not only that running back position, you have some top tier athletes as far as the wide receivers, as well as the tight ends. So competition will be ramped up. But watching what this player does in coverage this preseason is something that we all have to lock in on from this player, because that was questions that I had from him before camp even started. Here's another clip where he uses good vision, steps up, and attacks the ball carrier. Players like him and Maurice Leofau really showed up this game. And I will be breaking down Maurice Leofau real soon because I got a lot of catching up to do. But it's really encouraging to see this play because we will definitely need these guys at their best throughout this season. So let's run it. So locking on this play here, just seeing James firing off the ball, closes in and delivers the boom. And watching a lot of these linebackers, when you can be able to hit a guy so quickly like that, it can force these guys to fumble the ball. And one thing I do respect from a guy like James, he's a leader on and off the field. But playing in the NFL, you're at the bottom of the depth chart, but you have to go out there and go prove it. Nothing is given once it comes down to the big leagues. You got to go out there and earn it. But having players like Maurice Leofau around you, DeMarvion Overshown, as well as players like Kenneth Murray, there is a lot of talent when it comes down to this position, but chemistry is key. They got to put it all together and get this thing rolling. Now, I'm not sure if this player is going to see burn on the defense this year, but if he can be in some packages and play special teams, that is a huge leap from a player that was picked in the 5th round. But this is only the beginning for Shemar James. So on this final play here, you'll see him do the same thing he did in the last clip, react to the play quickly and use good vision. But this time, he wasn't able to secure the tackle. But like I said, it won't be perfect when it comes down to him. Mistakes will definitely be made. However, it's encouraging to see that this player has the savviness to put himself in the right spot to potentially make a play. So we go ahead and run it. So running this play here, just watching Shemar James. He looked good at number 52, by the way. I like that number on him. But the running back gets the ball. He closes in well, but misses that tackle. The good thing is there were enough defenders to be able to defend a play, so it wasn't too bad on this rep. And with this type of player, I didn't have a lot of film when it came down to him, but we wanted to show y'all everything that we had of this game. There's a lot of things that needs to be fixed, not only him, but with the entire team. That's why I do not want to overhype this. Y'all haven't heard from me in the last couple of weeks because I had a lot of things that was going on, but I want to bring you guys the best content for the good plays as well as the bad, so we can have an understanding of what these guys are doing on the field. But with Shemar James, he is one of those athletes that jumped off the screen game one. So this was definitely a good start for him. So as far as all of these linebackers with James, Kenneth Murray, Sanborn, the list goes on what these players could potentially do. But it's not going to come down to just them. That defensive line, they got to get it right. Hopefully with Micah Parsons, that relationship between Jerry Jones and him has been dysfunctional and they need to get that contract done. This team has a ton of potential, but chemistry matters, toughness matters, and stepping up when it matters most, especially when it's cold outside. But with a rookie like Shemar James, having a solid first game of his career is always great to see. So hopefully he has what it takes to be able to stack these days together. So comment below and let me know what you guys think about Shemar James' first performance and who else do y'all want to see me break down just like this video. So make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe and hit that notification bell because the way the YouTube algorithm works, if you don't hit it, you'll miss on fire updates and the best football film sessions on YouTube. All right, Cowboys Nation, talk to y'all soon. Gone.